Rome Board meeting to order for Thursday, December 15th, 2022 at 5 o'clock. Number 2, roll call starting from my left.
Jamadi here.
Minter here.
Hasdell here.
Bauerheit here.
And we don't know where Mr. Goldman is.
Hopefully safe.
Should be here shortly.
Weather. Number 3, certified posting of the meeting, please.
I certify that on Monday, December 12th, 2022, the agenda for the Town of Rome Board meeting for Thursday, December 15th was emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 3:13 p.m., posted at Rome Town Hall at 3:20 p.m., at Quick Trip LLC at 4 p.m., and at Nakusa Port Edward State Bank at 3:55 p.m.
Thank you. Number 4, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve today's agenda, December 15th.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 5, please stand for Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 6, citizen comments. Have any been turned in?
No.
Thank you. We'll pass. No action contemplated except possible referral to future agenda. Number 7, information updates, meeting recaps, recent correspondence, current events, announcements. Lori, do you have anything?
No, I just want to thank all of those who participated in helping with the Christmas or the weekend Christmas in Rome. I heard it went very, very well. I helped judge the Christmas trees and they were all very wonderful. So thank you to everybody that helped with that. It was very special.
Dan?
I just have 2 thank yous. 2 of our Leicester Library Citizen Board members are leaving the board here at the end of December. Bill Lindroth served from 2012 to 2022 as a board member of the library, and Jean Osgood served from 2011 to 2022. So I just want to thank both of those board members of the Leicester Library Board, but I also want to extend a thank you to all the citizen members of all of our boards and commissions, because we don't function without the input and advice of our citizen members as well. So thank you to everybody who serves on the boards and the commissions.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Bob?
Yeah, I completed the narrative portion of the WEDC Vibrant Spaces and turned it over to the grant committee to finish it off and retouch it, so that's good.
I have a few things, not much. I want to take on what Lori said about the Christmas in Rome. It was a huge event. Thanks to Sand Valley for the crafts. That was just an amazing amount of kids that were in there, the face painting and everything else. It was a huge event. Did we ever get a count on the number of children that showed up?
I thought it was over 70. Did they have 70 bags?
Yeah.
Wow.
There might have been a little more, but
In
all
Visit Rome, yeah.
70
I mean,
bags.
wow.
Gone.
And one other thing, Tri-Lakes received information this week that we are in fact eligible for alum treatments through Solitude, and they're working with the DNR as we speak to start setting up our first spray, which will be on Sherwood because of their capacity. They're in rough shape. So more information coming on that, but it's moving forward.
Yeah, I gotta say too, they were very favorable as far as they felt the results in our lake is going to show very positive results. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's not a permanent fix, but it's a step in the direction, and they said we were very unique.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie?
Just had 3 things. First thing, the Wisconsin Towns Association, which we are members of, turned 75 this year, and they did produce a nice history book about the history of the Wisconsin Towns Association, which Attorney Flanagan reminded me started in Adams County, and their first conference was at the Friendship Hotel in Adams County. So we did, all towns that are members got a complimentary edition of this, so we'll keep that book here at Town Hall if anyone would like to see it, or take it and read it and bring it back. I also want to mention that our website, our new website in design is live. It went live late this afternoon. We still have some tweaking and some things to clean up on it, but then the sooner we go live, the less we have of keeping track of what got changed on our old page and what's getting changed on the new page. So the picture on the top is one steady picture, but we can rotate it seasonally and change it as many times as we want. And Lisa was kind enough to send me a series of winter photos, so we'll change that periodically on the site. So we'll put out something on Facebook tomorrow that just shares that the new page is live. And then the last one, since this is our last meeting before the holidays, just a reminder that Town Hall will be closed on Friday the 23rd and Monday the 26th, and then again on Monday the 2nd. The transfer site will only be closed on Christmas Day, otherwise it'll be open its regular hours over the weekend, which are 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
I just had one other one, please, if we could add, do you wanna make a announcement too as to what time you'll be collecting taxes? I know it was in the mailer, but do we wanna just make an announcement too for anybody? The hours, the last day that they can bring them in?
So, your first installment's not due until January 31st, but a lot of people like to pay before the end
Right.
of the year. And so it would be just regular town hall hours from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. But then again, noting that we would be closed, the Friday and Monday around the holidays, and then the Monday after the New Year.
But the last day that they can make by credit card is?
The 27th.
7th, right?
The
Okay, so
27th.
there's no confusion. Thank you.
January 27th.
Thank you.
That's it? All right, number 8, department and committee reports.
I have some questions, please. For the administrator, under other, you had a meeting with, the city of West Allis on short-term rental efforts. Was that something that they had contacted us about and had some interest in our process? Were we able to help them, or did we contact them and have questions for them, or?
They contacted us. I think I shared a little bit at Plan Commission. We have a lot of short-term rentals. We've kind of become a leader in the state on that.
Okay,
So they knew that we had a good process and that they're getting more short-term rentals, so their finance director reached out, finance director, head of finance reached out, and we met about our process.
oh, great, okay. And then meeting with the new Synergy Executive Director with Angel. She used to be with the Heart of Wisconsin.
Yep.
Does she have some new ideas to help invigorate our area more than what Synergy has maybe possibly offered in the past, or what were some ideas she shared?
I would say absolutely. So Angel is an Adams Friendship graduate, and I don't think it's speaking out of turn to say that she feels like Synergy could also, expand that presence that they have in central Wisconsin. So she just talked about wanting to be more present in Adams County and involved in Adams County. And if you get the Synergy newsletter, there was a feature story about the Create Center in Adams Friendship on this last one. So I
Okay,
think Angel will be a great resource for us.
great. And then I just wanted to also, I have some questions, but I did want to make a comment about LifeStar. I've been getting a lot of complimentary comments about their service lately from the community, that the care they have received has been extraordinary, that people are very, very happy with them. And just to comment on the response times, in our report we received, Rome has been, the average has been 7.3 seconds, Big Flats 11.5, and Monroe 12.5. So that has been very good. So I just wanted to say that out loud and extend our thanks to them, that people are very pleased. One of my questions was for, let's see here, another one would be for a new website. I didn't know if you'd want to share this, but we've got something here from the Public Works. I don't know if you can do this in condensed format on our website under news and notices, but it's very helpful about the winter reminders, because this is something that was helpful to me. I didn't know we were supposed to say 200 feet behind our snowplows, but I think that's a good reminder. I didn't know if you'd have room for that. There was also a dead brush update from zoning that I found very interesting, that, maybe we could just talk about that at another time. But, in conjunction with the report we got last week with the 70% or 97% in the Lake Arrowhead, west side of town compared to what we have now on the east side, I think that's maybe something we could discuss at a later date that would be helpful, that how we can get those numbers, improve on those numbers in the future. Because in the zoning department, she has listed brush and timber 56 non-compliant. So I was confused. If there's 97%, I didn't understand what 56 non-compliant would be. is she saying that that is, what is the non-compliant numbers for?
So those are only associated for the November checks, so that would be, let me see, 1, 2, that would be area 2, cause area 3 just got rechecked, so.
Okay.
It's just that one area.
Area 2, all right.
So we did October, November. I'm correcting myself, Supervisor Jamadi, it might be area 3, but I will confirm, it's just the one area though, that was at the end of November.
All right, so that's for a specific area
Yes.
then? Okay, great. That's what I had. Thank you. That was it for me. Thank you.
Jamie, anything you wanna add?
Nope, not unless there's other questions.
Bob? Yeah? All right, discuss and possible action on the following items. Number 9, discussion and action, approval of the December 1st, 2022 meeting minutes.
I'll move to approve the meeting minutes of, what is it, November?
December
December
1st.
1st.
December 1st.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Number 10, discussion and action, checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries. Approved checks number 44761 through 44850 totaling $516,327.93. Auto payments totaling $196,252.51. State, Social Security, Medicare withholdings totaling $33,085.27. Payroll vouchers V19634 through V19770 totaling $89,740.30. And checks number 21651 through 21652 totaling $142.96. Receipts number 24085 through 24159 totaling $611,062.09.
Move to approve the checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries as presented.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
I have just a few questions. On page 5, there was a check to Eagle Construction for the band shell. It says payment number 3. That's just a regular payment then for work that's already been done?
Yes, payment number 1 and payment number 2 were for the glue lamp beams. We had to put half down and then the rest for delivery because they were special ordered for the band shell. So that third payment is just the assembly of equipment out there, being out there when Ascent was doing some concrete work.
Okay. And then on page 7, I have 2 questions. There's one for police contracted services for $2,000 to Global Corporation. Do you know what that would be for?
I'd have to look that one up.
Okay, thank you. And then I have a question. Page 7 and page 16, they go together. They're for ATV grants for the skid steer rental. I'd asked about this once before because we actually have 2 skid steers, I believe. And I'm just curious with, one is for the ATV DNR grant and then another one for ATV grant, both going to the skid steer rental. Again, the question would just be with renting the equipment that totals over $8,000, and I just wonder if, again, with us having our own skid steers, if using those grants would be more beneficial towards park improvements versus renting equipment we already have. And I know there's, later on in our budget, we show where we, in our check receipt register, where we're having grants coming in for a total of $90,000 for the ATV from the state of Wisconsin. Then we also have one coming in for the motorcycle grant of another $8,000, which is for the motocross. You know, if renting the equipment couldn't be put to better use, that's just the question I have. So
We can ask
if maybe
that.
we could talk to Brad and see if, you know, putting more money into the park improvements versus equipment rentals.
I had asked Brad about that 3 or 4 months ago, and I guess they have a different machine they come out with. It's a lot more effective than what we have for cleaning the trails up. But go ahead and
Again,
double
you
check
know,
with them.
8,000 and then twice in 1 month, you know, that totals quite a bit, and over a year, I don't know, but
I can ask him to address that in his next monthly report too.
that would be great. Thank you very much.
And I had a question too on those grants, not really a question, it was page 12 on the receipts. There was 97,762, that was all expected, correct?
Yeah, that's it. That's our maintenance grant.
Okay.
Right, cause that's the same one I had. There's 3 for ATVs and then the one for the highway, off-road highway grant for the motorcycle, the motocross track.
Those are all expected grants. We applied
Right.
for those and, yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 11, discussion and possible action, annual visit Rome, Wisconsin report.
So we'll just make sure your mic is on. And then the mouse there will advance your slides.
My name is Lisa Kubis. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the executive director for Visit Rome, and I'm here tonight to present our annual report. Just starting off, just wanted to show some pictures of the mini mutter that was held at Tri-Norris this past August. We had about 100 kids come out. Visit Rome co-hosted the event with the Tri-Norris organization. It was just a wonderful event, wonderful day. I think I said about 100 children went through the obstacle course. Many of them did it 3, 4, and even 5 times. So just wanted to start off with that.
Some of them just did the parts they liked 3, 4.
Right? But Tri-Norris did an awesome job of setting up the obstacle course, and then Visit Rome, we helped a lot with the promotion and just the organization of the event. It was a really nice partnership. No, I just, if someone would like a summary of what I'm talking about today, I did bring some extras.
This is in your
Thanks,
report
Jackie.
packet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this next slide, I think you've seen this before. This is kind of a recap of our lodging tax dollars. Just a reminder, the Wisconsin state statute tells us that room tax dollars are to be utilized for tourism development and tourism promotion. Visit Rome receives 70% of the total room tax, and the town of Rome retains the other 30%. So this is just a breakout. The chart shows you obviously Q2 and especially Q3 are where we get the most room tax. And then the chart off to the side, you can see the growth of, this is Visit Rome's portion of the room tax. You can see the very significant growth from 2015 to 2023. Any questions there? No? I just thought I'd kind of give you a recap of what Visit Rome does with those funds. This is a pretty high level breakout. We can go through the pieces of the pie. The tourism marketing is obviously things like digital advertising, our visitor's guide, even down to radio advertising, our branded merchandise, things of that nature. Huh, I don't know what happened to that piece, but that is tourism development, and that's about 15%.
It's on ours.
Okay.
It is
I know
on
for some
ours.
reason it's not on there. So that 15% piece of the pie is, the majority of it was our work with Jewel organization, or Jewel engineers, on the Link the Lakes design of a trail and tunnel system. Grant funding, we're gonna talk about on the next slide. Board expenses, a very small piece of the pie. It's actually under 1%. As you know, our board members are volunteers, so there isn't any type of fee for that. Tourism wages would include wages for myself, for our marketing and events coordinator, Jillian, as well as a summer intern that we had helping us this summer with events and the farmers market. Tourism operations includes things like insurance, our audit, our accountant, our website hosting, things of that nature. Our 2022 grant and community funding. This is something, and Jackie is here as well. She's the president of our board. We're extremely proud of what we've done this year in terms of grant and community funding. So our tourism grants, you can see, totaled about 115,000. These were grants anywhere from putting up fencing at the dog park to helping secure the SCBAs for the fire department in Rome, to things like the tractor. We helped the Monroe Prairie ATV Club purchased a tractor for grooming the trails. Next bucket would be new business support. We decided that the new businesses in town, we would help them out a little bit by giving them a $500 check to use either for a grand opening promotion, a promotional item that they were giving away, things like that. Our market and event donations, I don't know if, I think many of you are familiar, but our farmers market, we sell a lot of t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats. We decided this year to forward all those proceeds to a nonprofit in the town of Rome. And it's not just the net proceeds, it was total sales actually. So each of these organizations received, it would vary $500-600 on average that we would forward those proceeds for. And then lastly, our culinary certification. We received a grant from the state of Wisconsin. And we used those funds to put 13 people through the culinary program at Mid-State Technical College. That included 100% tuition, as well as we also offered gift cards for transportation for gas. Any questions there? No? Just a picture of this is the culinary, I guess, what would you? Yeah. It's their facility. These are the facilities at Mid-State. If you haven't seen them, they're quite impressive. So these were the students during one of their classes. We participated in a lot of events this summer. Some we hosted, including the Art Stevenson and Highwater concert. Great turnout. I think we had 250, 300 people there. We had our own series of concerts on Tuesdays that they were great as well, but a Tuesday night is a little harder to get people, but really nice evenings for people as well. We hosted 2 kids outdoor movies. First one was fantastic. I think we had about 70 people there. And the next one, it rained and we had to move it to the town center, so didn't have quite the turnout, but the first one was great. And then we also had Mad Dog and Meryl come. I think that was in August. Again, a great turnout. They said it was the biggest audience they've ever had for a taping of their show, so that was a good event as well. Again, we co-hosted the Mini Mutter as well as the Halloween festivities that took place in the town hall in October, or I'm sorry, the town center. And then we also sponsor a lot of events, just support through financial support, basically.
Yes, Lisa, from Parks and Rec, I'd like to thank you and Visit Rome for the summertime sounds and concerts that you hosted, which actually the money raised during those events went to Parks and Rec for the band shell. Thank you.
Right, you're very welcome. Just some more pictures for you. This was one of the concerts. This was Art Stevenson and Highwater. This is an image of, we had the kids sit in pools. Actually, there were families sitting in each of these pools during the movie. This is a sponsor. We sponsored the ski jump at Tri-North, so just a picture of that. And then we also are a sponsor of the pond hockey tournament at Sand Valley. We worked really hard on improving our website this year. We started a new blog program. If any of you haven't read that, it's I think it's very entertaining. Lydell Caprita, we hired him on to come to Rome for events and such. He's talked to presidents of organizations, and then he writes little stories about those interactions. We've added a shopping tab to our website to include, you know, the Rome Meat Market, bison trading, and so on. We've added an initiatives tab that explains our grant program, as well as our workforce development efforts. We've put lots of new images, videos. We're really trying to add some seasonality to it. So with each of the season, changing out pictures and things like that. Then some overall cleanup of the site. We've had, I think, a lot of digital marketing success. If you look down at the bottom, that is just one of the carousels that people see on Facebook. So that one it's a carousel of all the events that are going on in Rome. So Christmas in Rome now is dropped off, and we're replacing it with another event. So we're just going to keep doing that year round. So digital efforts like this, I have some stats up there. So we've seen a 257% increase in page views on our website. We've also seen a 608% increase in our Facebook reach compared to 2021. So that means it's about a 1.4 million people that saw an ad like this on Facebook. Sorry. So, any questions there? Nope. The other thing that we did, we gave away an ATV. So this increased our email audience, probably doubled our email audience. We had about 45,000 entries into the giveaway, and we're looking at possibly doing a snow dog this year. Just was successful in adding all these email addresses. Our long range projects, Link the Lakes. I think you've heard, a lot of people have heard about this one. So we've partnered with Jewel Engineering. Phase 1 would be the tunnel under Highway 13, and then a trail from the west end of that tunnel to the town center. They are almost complete with the design of that project. So now will help us with obtaining grant funding from the state, as well as looking for a construction firm to actually do the job. We're kind of in an exploratory phase of a tubing hill. We've been talking about this, I think, the last couple years. So just continuing with that conversation. And then workforce development. I think we all know that tourism, without people working at, like Arrowhead, Sand Valley, I mean, we need the workforce for tourism to strive here. So we are continuing to talk about further initiatives beyond the culinary certification that we just went through. So our focus for 2023, I'll just run through these pretty quick, to continue to build the shoulder season awareness in Rome. I mean, I think we all know summers here are pretty busy, just trying to get more events out there and more information about vacationing in Rome in the winter. We're going to continue to support and build onto existing events. We want to continue to build awareness of major attractions like Dyracuse, like Tri-Norse, the trap shooting complex. Again, our long-range projects are always top of mind, and then we have an initiative to increase awareness of the Visit Rome mission. I think a lot of people in the community don't know exactly what we do or how we operate or how it works, so we're trying to get that information out there a little more. And then lastly, I wanted to kind of give a rundown of the Visit Rome board members for those of you that aren't aware. Bob Bauerheit is the one member representing the Town of Rome Board of Supervisors. We have Will Beckstrom, who is representing the Town of Rome lodging industry. Tom Gabriel represents the Town of Rome restaurant industry. Joel Barth is the retailer not related to any hotel or motel property in the Town of Rome. One realtor or developer not related to any hotel or motel property, that would be Al Schmidt from Rome Realty. One financial or banking representative, that would be Rob Sigler from Nakusa Port Edwards State Bank. And then we have 1 to 5 members representing the community at large. That would include Jennifer Parr Murphy, Jackie Cole, who is our board president, Chelsea Sorbel Willard, and Paul Bondi. Just wanted to end with that.
Well, I think Visit Rome has done an amazing job in the last couple of years. You seem to just take the ball and run with it. It's amazing. And you left out that you're also on highway cleanup.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to thank you.
I need to take notes throughout the year to remember everything.
It's looking forward to every time you guys are coming up with something. It's just you think outside the box and you come up with things that, wow, pond hockey. Who knows? Yeah.
Well, that was,
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's kind of, an initiative of Sand Valleys that we're
Yeah.
obviously fully supporting, yep. Yeah, any other questions? No? All right, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 12, discussion and possible action, approval of ordinance number 22, recommendation from the Plan Commission on consideration of the proposed comprehensive plan map 9 amendment from the classification of preservation, forestry and residential to rural residential and zoning map amendment from CV conservancy district and R2, 1 and 2 family and manufactured dwelling residence district to R4, rural residence district relating to the properties owned by the city of Adams, described as follows: part of parcel numbers 030-00964, 030-00960, and 030-00961, all parcels also described as part of section 27, town 20 north, range 06 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin. Total area of the section proposed to be rezoned is 19 acres.
Town attorney's gonna.
Yep, so I can give a bit of background to this. I believe we also have a representative here to answer questions if you have them as well. So this item relates to part of an 1,100 acre area of property that's currently owned by the city of Adams. A prospective purchaser of the property would like to build a home on what would be the 19 acres that is up for consideration today. That is included on the map, along with a lot of other pictures and that in your packet. The current zoning of that large area of property is both conservancy and R2. The future land use map on that property is preservation, forestry, and residential. The request that you have before you this evening is to amend the comprehensive plan future land use map for the 19 acre area from, so it'd be to rural residential. And actually, I believe that area is on the comprehensive plan's future land use map. I believe it's partially noted as preservation, forestry, and residential. That one might actually have 3 designations right now on it. But the request is to go to rural residential. And the rezoning request for the 19 acre area is from what would be split zoned currently. It's currently split zoned conservancy and R2. The request is to rezone that 19 acre area to R4 rural residential. And just a general note, a public hearing was held on the request. That was held on December 13th, 2022, after which a recommendation was made by the Plan Commission to amend the comprehensive plan's future land use map and rezone the parcel with the following conditions. Number 1, to be conditioned on the approval of the CSM. And second, that the property owner enters into an agreement and signs it, that the remainder of the property remain in conservancy and not be subdivided further. We did ask the representative at the last meeting if that would be acceptable to them, and they said that it would be.
You had included on your desk today a signed copy by the Plan Commission, and then the owner's representative and the City of Adams agreeing to those conditions. And Bill Parr, who's representing the buyer, is here tonight if you had additional questions.
The property owned by the city of Adams, is that the Burt Morris property?
That is correct. Commonly referred to as the Burt Morris property. He donated it to the city. Chairman, if you're wondering about the odd shape of the lot.
Yes, I am.
It's because of a lot of this property is wetland. And that odd shape is where high ground is, essentially, where construction could occur, cause the majority of this 1,100 acres is very wet. And very important to the town of Rome's, wetlands, so, we're happy that the potential buyer, likely buyer, will sign an agreement that it won't be developed or subdivided further.
And looking at this map, the entire square is the entire 19 acres?
Yes. The odd shaped, it's not really
Well,
square,
it's, yeah,
but this odd shape is the 19.
that's the 19 inside the
Yep.
rest of the parcel.
And this is the 1,100. Bill, do you wanna add anything?
You're doing just fine, unless they have a question.
I didn't even pay him for that shameless plug.
So it's just the 19 acres that's being looked at to change for R4?
Yeah, it's this map right here, and then
Yeah.
the stem comes in off of Highway O.
That-
And that's all high ground comes in there, the pictures show that it's nice and high ground, there's a small cabin in there now and a garage. It's just a one-room cabin, that is a septic in a while, but they'd like to have something bigger.
That
Very-
cabin will likely not stay, that'll get
No, it'll
removed.
stay.
I don't know that anyone's really been in that cabin for many, many
Not since
years.
bird time,
Yeah.
you lived there, but pretty primitive.
That's a long driveway then, right? Looks to be.
One of the reasons we included all that, cause putting in a driveway, you know, that may take some blacktop or something, and we just wanna make sure that's all in the R4.
Okay. Did the fire, well, that's gonna be later on with that.
They'll have to have an approved driveway permit. They'll likely need a U-turn or they'll need something so the truck can get in and back out.
Can I get a motion, please?
Move to approve the rezoning request with the recommendations as stipulated from the planning commission.
I'll second the motion.
Just one question, so it's rezoning request and a comprehensive plan map amendment, is that also included?
Yes, sorry, and comprehensive map amendment.
Yeah,
Is that included?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Number 13, discussion of possible action, approval of ordinance number 22, recommendation from the Plan Commission on Comprehensive Plan Map 9 amendment from forestry to residential and zoning map amendment from FR Forest and Outdoor Recreation to R1 Single Family Residence District relating to the properties owned by TNS Land Investments, described as follows. Parcels number 030-00631, 030-00632. All parcels also described as part of Section 7, Town 20 North, Range 06 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin. Total area 79 acres.
Okay, so this item relates to the applicant's request to subdivide a 79-acre area into what is proposed to be Alpine Estates subdivision. Just a general note that the reason you're seeing the comp plan amendment request and rezone request at the same time that you're seeing the preliminary plat, it's a little bit unique in this situation in that the Plan Commission's recommendation on the comp plan amendment and rezone was conditioned on approval of the preliminary plat map at its November 9th, 2022 meeting. Because of that, this item was held back until the Plan Commission reviewed and made a recommendation on the preliminary plat map. And so you're seeing those both together, and in just a moment, I'll review with you what the Plan Commission's approvals were. You'll hear two different dates there for that reason. The applicant is proposing a comprehensive plan map amendment from forestry to residential, and a rezone from FR Forest and Outdoor Recreation to R1 Single Family Residence. A public hearing on the comp plan and rezoning was held by the Plan Commission, after which a recommendation was made to amend the future land use map and rezone to R1, conditioned on the approval of the preliminary plat map at the November 9th, 2022 Plan Commission meeting. Then a public hearing on the preliminary plat map was conducted at December 13th, 2022 Plan Commission meeting, after which the Plan Commission recommended the approval with two conditions. The two conditions were as follows. First, that the roads be built to town standards and completed before permits are issued, or home permits, are issued. Second, that the approval is conditioned on the final approval of the rezoning.
Nick, and they're going with the updated plot plan?
You're correct. So it's
It's the one marked V3 in your packet.
version.
Which one is the updated for then?
The
One.
updated,
132, page 132.
the updated was what had originally went into the Plan Commission packet, and then V3 was sent a little bit later, and this V3 is what was approved.
Okay.
It's that back of the Timberline Drive that's shortened, and you'll see those two lots were combined in the back.
Right.
So V3 is the
33.
preliminary plat for the next item, is the approved preliminary plat for the next item. The town attorney, as he mentioned, we needed approved preliminary plat before we brought forth the zoning change.
And that's why I gave you the full background before I just stopped at the comp plan and rezoning, even though that's the item that we have. It was, from the Plan Commission, recommended that be conditioned on the preliminary plat, so it's kind of, you hear it in a way that it really is, it kind of is all together, although it's two separate agenda items.
And like lots 18 and 19 can never be subdivided further.
It would be difficult to subdivide them further. They would not have the required road frontage. And so if purchased, the road frontage would have to be built. And I think, given the cost of road frontage, is why they're outlined like that now.
It would also be difficult because we have, and we reviewed this at the Plan Commission meeting, we have restrictions in our ordinance for width depth ratio. And so I'm not saying it's impossible to draw that, but the way that our ordinance regulates certain dimensional standards, prohibiting flag lots and such, along with our depth width regulations, it would be very difficult to largely subdivide those back to lots. Not impossible, very difficult to.
I have a question regarding this letter that we received. Is this a newer letter?
No, this one, that's the same one that went into Plan Commission, but I believe that the owner wanted it included. But
Okay,
it went to Plan Commission in when we've been going through this process.
okay, I just didn't remember this particular, okay, thank you.
Well, on that, he says they're building storage units, that's his last sentence on item 6.
No, storage units would not be allowed.
Well, I didn't understand that. And I was looking at the GIS map too, it looks like there's a buffer on the south end.
That's-
With
there
Lake
is-
Arrowhead owns a buffer in there?
Yes, and they have a walking trail on it now.
I have, I just wanna say, I appreciate that developers are coming in and doing these types of neighborhoods. This was originally zoned R4, and I had concerns from the beginning because we received large lists of concerned residents that have built homes here, because it went from R4, and what we had originally discussed was R2, And then we had sent it back, and then it came to us as R1. And people were concerned with the camping issues, and we had discussed there being camping in this area. And as we know, with our zoning as it currently stands, we can't keep camping from this area. But as we know, there's also a need in our community for other types of housing. And this is right across from multi-residential land that's currently in the Rome Town Center, right across from, it's across 13th Avenue where there's the storage buildings, and then also the multi-housing land that the town owns in the Rome Town Center, which I had described as walkable. So if we had like a PUD overlay, that there could be other types of development here, and I just don't know that we had other discussions with the developer for that type of housing, and I know they wanna develop this and sell it. And I have not voted in favor of this type of zoning change, and my fellow commissioners have, and for the record, I just feel that for the need that we have in our community for other types of housing, there's been this misunderstanding of what manufactured homes are in this day and age. People think of mobiles, and manufactured housing isn't necessarily always a mobile. And so, although I appreciate what they're trying to do here for single-family housing, I just think that the number of families and homeowners we have, even though there's a buffer, there was a great deal of concern when it went to R1 and it allowed camping, although camping is allowed in our other,
All residential zoning.
right. But the R4 had bigger lot sizes.
5-acre minimum.
Right. So that was a discussion that we suddenly lost when we went to R1. And that was where I had concerns.
What are the range of lot sizes on this? I can't read the numbers on it.
They go from like a 1.96 in the front along 13.
To just under 20 in the back.
Yeah, just under 20, the two biggest. But then along the buffer, some of them are,
They're larger along the side that is by the buffer with Lake Arrowhead. So on that side, it's 3, 3, and 3, which was a request at Plan Commission that
Yes.
the developer implemented in the approved V3 plat.
how many campers can you have on one lot?
In R1, you can have one camper. It does not have to be removed in the winter. You can
Correct.
get guest camping, but then those have to be removed.
And the buffer isn't necessarily that wide. And that was a concern. Do you recall how many names we had on?
I do not recall. I'd have to pull that Plan Commission packet.
The one thing that was a plus, the developer is putting in the roads, and then the town would eventually take those over.
And the Timberline Court would line up to our Timberline Parkway. So you'd be able to cross directly over from Rome Town Center into this development.
But again, we did have another gentleman come and speak the other night, but it was only one person. But a lot of people again have left now for the winter months.
I know where this is.
There's a lot of new homes going in here too, and
board have a recommendation?
Do we need a motion?
We need a motion, yep.
Okay, I move to approve the ordinance 22 blank with recommendation from the Plan Commission on Comprehensive Plan number map 9. The amendment from the forestry to residential and zoning
Keep going.
map,
From FR to R1.
from FR to R1, okay.
I'll second. Discussion? My only concern was the camping thing. Again, we didn't send out the Lakes District camping to all areas out there, as I understand it, so they can camp year round, which,
You cannot camp year-round. You just don't have to remove your camper.
Can't move it,
Yes.
okay.
Only Lake District has the requirement of removal in the winter. But you cannot, camping's not living. You can't live in the camper year-round.
I would assume that the majority of the people who are camping seasonally are eventually going to build a house, most likely at some point in time on that piece of property. You know, you mentioned the manufactured home things. Yeah, I might agree. Manufactured homes aren't mobile homes necessarily anymore. My house that I live in that was built 20 years ago was a manufactured home.
It's not allowed in R1.
I don't know what my zoning is.
Your Lake District.
I'm Lake District. You know, but they look nice. You know, I mean, no, they're not the fancy ones like Sand Valley has, but they're fairly nice homes for the average income person.
I think the minimum 2 acres, 1.9, that's, you're looking at, people are gonna enjoy the natural beauty of the area, so.
Which has been a major item of Plan Commission, is to keep larger lot sizes to keep the rural nature.
All right, we have a motion and second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion is carried. Number 14, discussion and possible action, recommendation from the Plan Commission regarding consideration of a preliminary plat for the Alpine Estates subdivision be located on a 79-acre parcel owned by TNS Land Investments, described as follows. Parcel numbers 030-00631, 030-00632, all parcels all described as part of Section 7, Town 20 North, Range 06 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin. Sounds like the same one.
Again, a reminder, this is the one that I had referenced that the Plan Commission did recommend approval with those two conditions that I had noted. So just.
No storage, and what else?
Nothing about storage. It was that the roads be built to town standards and completed before home permits are issued. And second, that the approval was conditioned on the final approval by, to the zoning, of the rezoning. So the rezoning has been taken care of already, but I would just note that that condition on the roads was a recommendation from the Plan Commission.
And you're looking at the V3 map. Just make sure that's the approved map is the V3 map. So you'll see this again next month. There's always a preliminary and a final. Preliminary comes with the findings of fact, and then the final is we'll go through Plan Commission and Town Board.
You get a motion?
Yeah, I'll move that we approve the Plan Commission's recommendation regarding consideration of a preliminary plat plan for Alpine Estates subdivision located on a 79-acre parcel owned by TNS Land Investments, described or shown as V3.
With the at least the condition that.
With the condition on the roads being developed before home sales are allowed.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Nay.
Motion carried. Number 15, discussion and possible action, resolution number 22, approval of application to the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, WIDC, Vibrant Space Grant for improvements to Rome Town Center and continued development of the park project.
Move to approve the resolution, move to approve submitting the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation's Vibrant Spaces Grant.
I'll second the motion.
Discussion?
Yes, please. On the back of here, I'd just like to discuss the very last statement, where it says, sign necessary documents and take necessary actions to undertake, direct, and complete the approved grant activities, as well as on the front where it says $50,000 award in 2023. It says we'll be able to match that 1-for-1. Do we have this in the budget, and where are we getting the 50,000 to
Yeah,
match?
we have it in the Parks and Rec budget for the band shell, so this 50,000, if we get it, would go towards the band shell, which is far in excess of that.
We would
But
have it in.
where,
we
what
would
are we
ha-
taking it away from to put it, match it? What are you not using it for?
Well, if it was awarded as part of the band shell construction, we have it with the band shell construction. The other place that we could utilize funds from is from room tax. If we were awarded up to 50, it does say that grant awards can be any place, I think, between between 25,000 and 50,000. So, but the other place would be from room tax revenue that we could take that from to match.
Okay, so you
This
don't have
would-
it aside, you
This
don't
would
have,
free up money from Parks and Rec too, to develop something else, for example, maybe the pickleball courts.
okay, so you didn't have it assigned to anything else?
It can be taken out of the parks, is what we're saying. If we're gonna utilize it to develop that park improvement, we do have more than 50 in the park improvement for capital for next year.
Unallocated,
It's allocated towards park improvement, right?
but
So
no specific.
if this is coming in for park improvement,
Okay.
would have those funds.
What I'm asking is, what Carl just, you don't have unassigned funds. You have unassigned funds in the park budget. That's not dedicated towards any specific project.
So we're parallel tracks. One, we have assigned funds in parks in capital improvements. That goes towards improving our Rome Town Center park improvement. There's more than 50 in there. So if we're going to utilize the majority of the funds in or around Rome Town Center Park, we could use our existing budgeting to match. If they like our grant application, but maybe they wanted a wider expanse, we could potentially take funds that would be unallocated from room tax dollars and utilize those. So whether or not we get the grant, and maybe if they say we really like this piece of it and we're willing to help you with that piece, but not this piece, then we could determine where those funds would come from. But we do have more than 50 allocated for capital improvement of band shell amenities, things that are happening within the park.
If we are selected for the grant, is that something that then would be coming back to the board to accept that?
I think so. We would ask for acceptance because of,
Because of that conversation, right?
yeah.
Because you'll know how much, and then you can make a decision on exactly what you just described.
Okay,
That's
cause,
one way we resolve that, because we don't know the number,
right,
and we also don't know where it necessarily would come from until you see what we get back.
you're
So I
moving
think
money,
as long as it comes back to the board can then make that determination on where the funds would come from and what would be the appropriate account to do that with.
thank you. And then in the last sentence, it says, sign necessary documents and take necessary actions to undertake, direct, and complete approved grant activities. We don't even know what those are. So right now, it seems like we're kinda getting ahead of ourselves
Yeah, and
to complete approved grant activities. We don't even know what those activities are yet. So it's
So-
almost like we're kinda signing and agreeing to something, and we don't know what they are yet.
So I did list out quite a few of them in the resolution, as far as that it would be the development of the band shell and pavilion, the recreational amenities, and listed several of those there, the updated signage and wayfinding signage, and then further implementation of our comp plan and the potential development of roads. So those are activities that would be included within the grant, within the Vibrant Spaces grant. as items, and it's not uncommon that we put on there that the chair can sign for those things
Right.
if when we would submit the grant.
It seems like we're discussing some of these things right now in CDA. We just brought up wayfinding signs. We've just brought up, so those things are already in discussion. So we haven't even approved the wayfinding signs. So it kind of seems like the grant's ahead of itself. It almost seems we're putting the cart before the horse.
But a lot of times those grants have to be ahead of some of the other
Yeah, the due
discussions.
date for the
Because
grant
there's
is,
a deadline to apply
January
for the
31st.
grant. And then if we get the grant, if it's decided that they don't want the wayfinding signs, then we would just, and if that's what the grant was for, well, then the grant would just go back to the state at that point in time. If we don't want to follow through on what it is, but there's 5 or 6 different things that this grant could be applied to, and it's gonna depend upon what the state approves, or how they approve it. I mean, I don't think they're just gonna say, oh, here's $50,000 if you're gonna match it. Nice if they do that, but they don't usually do that. So I don't think we're not locking ourselves into anything that's still being discussed by another committee, I don't think.
It probably wouldn't be wayfinding signs anyway, it would probably be signs within the park.
Those are wayfinding signs we're discussing right now at CDA though.
I thought they were basically along the highway.
No.
No, we're talking about wayfinding signage within the park and also a revamp to the main entry sign that this could also help to alleviate some cost on. The biggest portion of this though really is the Bandshell Pavilion and those subsequent amenities, those courts. I mean, those are the highest cost items by far.
And then Visit Rome could start a pickleball tournament. Sorry, Lisa.
And as Nick mentioned, it'll come up again, so no decisions have to be made at this point.
If we were awarded the grant, then we would bring back the award.
Discuss what it could or should be used for.
I mean,
Okay.
if we were awarded the grant, you wouldn't, I mean, we have quite a few elements in here. We couldn't be like, we're awarded the grant, we're going to do something in Twin Lakes Park, right? Like, that would be totally different than what we would be submitting the grant for.
Okay.
We had a motion in a second, right?
Yes, you
Okay. All those any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Number 16, discussion and possible action approval of resolution number 22, amendment to the general personnel and benefits policy manual, policy number 2.19 and 3.01, special skills reemployment policy.
All right, so this item relates to previous discussions that the board has had related to 2 scenarios that potentially could create additional considerations surrounding benefits and WRS qualifications. So the 2 specific scenarios are, one is where full-time employees terminate their employment, they seek reemployment with the town within 12 months for a part-time position. Second, where a part-time employee would exceed the hour limits and moving them to WRS qualified status. So what we've proposed as potential language in the policies addresses those 2 things in 2 different areas. So first I'll start on what would be page 3 of your packet. The first scenario is that reemployment of terminated employees. And so first, number 1 under there is saying that 12 months must elapse before reemployment of a WRS qualified employee to a part-time position. So it's a presumption that 12 months does need to elapse before the reemployment of them. Okay, that allows for that lapse of their period of time, the period of time to lapse before they would come back, so they don't have benefits as a part-time employee. Second, though, if we do consider hiring within that 12 months, it would be on specific. It would really be considered on a kind of an individual basis. It would be for specific reasons, for specific projects, and for a temporary period of time or a limited period of time. That there's a list under there of some considerations that would be given, and I would just note that in those situations, it's noted in this policy that those individuals would be hired on as independent contractors. They would not be an employee. The reason why that's proposed that way, as we've been working with WRS to explore certain circumstances and situations, one way that would allow us to bring back somebody that was WRS qualified and would be coming on as part-time or limited time employment would be as an independent contractor. So they did indicate to us that where that happened, they would want to see something like an independent contractor agreement. I call it here, you'll see under number 3, professional services agreement, but we'd have that agreement in place, okay, that sets out their compensation, the term or number of hours that are authorized for them to work or do work for the town. But the reason that language is in there is because as we've had conversations with WRS, that is one way that we can bring back somebody to do work in those special situations and not trigger the WRS continuation of those benefits. And so that's why the language is used the way it is to allow for somebody in those situations to come back in that 12-month period and not kind of spring back in those WRS benefits. And then just a general note that in that number 3, it also does contemplate the process by which this would happen. It would be a recommendation would be given by the administrator. Ultimately, of course, the decision would be the board's to make. In the event that the board does decide to do that, it would be kind of memorialized with a professional services agreement setting forth the compensation and the maximum hours. And of course, those hours can be deviated by the board if the board considers that and decides that that's appropriate. Then number 4 under that is creating an exception. The exception language that you see there mirrors WRS's manual. And so in talking through with the clerk treasurer, what the manual says from WRS, it does carve out exceptions for situations that would allow for somebody to come back. And we want to account for that because we do have situations where somebody could come back and it wouldn't just automatically trigger in the WRS benefits that they would get. Those are listed with those, so you'll see those 4 scenarios. One being the retirement annuity benefit was taken by the terminated employee. Second, there's a separation benefit. Third, lump sum payment. And fourth, the disability annuity. Just a note, again, that language largely mirrors what WRS has. And so what we've done is we've taken that right from WRS and put it in our policy to make sure that we don't run at odds with what WRS's policy is. So again, what this is doing is working within the guidance that we're receiving from WRS to allow for those situations. The presumption is a year has to elapse. We realize there may be situations where in that 12-month period it may be appropriate to bring them back. Under those situations, we have a list of considerations that would be given. Ultimately, it's the town board's decision. If we do decide to bring them back within that 12 months, it would be as an independent contractor, professional services agreement, setting forth those compensation amounts and hours. And the exception to that would be those situations at the end. And in those situations, it wouldn't be an issue. They could come back as a part-time.
Nick, do you want to change the wording here to professional services agreement, or do you want to stick with project services agreement?
I'm okay with
Either way.
frankly.
Okay.
I called them a project employee, or a project hire. I'm okay with project or professional, sorry. I said professional because
Yeah.
that comes into play often with independent contractor situations. My apology for the slip. Either way is fine with me.
Project/professional even. you know.
I like that too.
Project/professional works.
I like that.
I have a question on number 3, where it says, shall have final authority upon recommendation of the town administrator. I'm wondering, just for the protection of the administrator, even in the cases of, potential or possible, nepotism or favoritism, what about a department head having an option for a written opinion or evaluation of a person's prior performance included.
Okay, and I think that would be somewhat similar to, what we have in that next section, the part-time. I mean, we have some similar language to that. We could certainly involve, the department head as a recommendation or just,
A
you know, as I
recommendation,
I would
as I
think
use recommendation.
when it comes
I-
before
I-
the board, you would have that.
Yeah, as I use recommendation, what I contemplate with that kind of language is some report that lays out these guidelines and provides it to you as far as, you know, the appropriateness of this individual to be brought back as hired during that 12-month period. Certainly we can build in department head, I think that's a good idea.
For protection of both people, yes.
So if that is what you want to do, I can certainly put in that, and as we'll see in this next section with part-time, with the language for part-time employees and going over a threshold of hours, you'll see some of that language, so we can review
Right,
what that
it's
looks
there
like.
as well.
Yep, it's there already in the part-time piece. We can use some similar language to the section that I just reviewed with you, if that is what the board would like to do. So before that, though, I'll cover with you the other section. That's gonna be under 3.01. It relates to part-time employees. And this language is saying that part-time employees may not exceed that 1,200 hours, okay, on a revolving hours look-back period, without approval by the town board, upon recommendation by the administrator and department head, request for that waiver. And then the waiver would only occur upon a finding that the employee has an unusual or special skill. And that's where that special skill language had come from. We call it, unusual skill is what I have here. I can also
Slash
it,
special,
like,
and or special, yeah.
um,
But then when, yeah,
And or.
special, yeah.
special, okay? But that's what it's doing, is that consideration would only be in those situations where they have an unusual and or special skill, that warrants moving them from, in a part-time position above that 1,200 hour threshold. But you'll see there that language with the department head, I can fold that over, into the other section that.
Cause it's consistent, yes.
It would be consistent to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, need an amendment or a motion?
I'll
If he's done, we'll need a motion.
I am, yes, thank you.
I'll move that we approve the amendment, or resolution number 22 dash, do we have a number assigned, or
Not yet.
not yet? Amendment to the General Personnel and Benefits Policy Manual, policy number 2.19 and 3.01, Special Skills and Reemployment Policy.
With the recommendations provided by the board.
Thank you. With
Any-
I'll second that.
recommendations.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye?
Aye.
Yeah. Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 17, discussion of possible action, approve carryover 6 days of accrued vacation for the town administrator.
There's a memo in your packet, per my agreement with the town, it has to be approved by the town board.
I will second that with the recommendation that you,
I can't first it.
oh, I thought I heard, now I'm hearing things, that's great.
So you're gonna make the motion then?
Yeah, I'm gonna make the motion with the recommendation that you, because this is starting to, you're given these benefits for the sake of taking them because they're good for people, but with the recommendation that you start using your vacation,
Thank you.
okay? So I'll make a motion that you're allowed this carryover this year, but you start using these for the benefit of taking them.
There's a reason people take vacations.
Yes, and there's no need
It's to
not to be.
unwind.
Yeah, not taking them. There's time.
Gotta get a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The board may go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute Section 19.85 sub 1 sub C, consisting of employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility for the purposes of town administrator 12-week 12-month evaluation.
We're not gonna have to do this again, are we?
This is the last time. Can I get a motion, please?
Move to go into closed session per Wisconsin statute 19.85 sub 1 sub C.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, starting from my left.
Yes.
Minter, yes.
Asla, yes.
Barheit, yes.
We are in closed session. Microphones are still on.
Yep, mics stay live and the camera stays on, we'll exit to the other room. You can feel free to bring a cupcake with you if you would. Can we use the, Yep, you can, that's fine.
I'm not proud. I've been doing too good to not take one.
Confetti chocolate gingerbread.
Yes, I love gingerbread.
And she take 3.
Have a good night, Jackie. Yes, you too. Hey, Mike. How are you? As good as that video. No, nobody in my house needs to eat.
I don't need to be eating this, but you know what? I'm
not
going to.
trying to.
I'm going to
say
anyhow.
You should, I'm just, but we've had.
I knew there was a reason I didn't have dessert at supper.
I didn't get anything from Dan, he usually sends me something. Didn't last time.
I didn't get anything from Dan either.
Probably forgot.
No, I think he's like completely.
It would be unusual.
That'd be very uncharacteristic of you.
Yes.
Cute. A
No, I think
2003.
he probably
What's
just
this
had a long day
All right.
at work, maybe, and, oh, cool, Scott Construction. They do such good work, they got a good business.
They build office
They've
buildings.
got quality products too, by the way.
Is that related to the people that we did the rezoning on tonight?
No.
No? Okay. I just T&S, I don't know.
I just have to be honest, I just couldn't do it.
Oh, he went to that.
You just have to adjourn, right?
Come back in the open session.
All right, number 19, the board reserves the right to enter into open session authorized by Wisconsin's statute, section 19.85, sub 2, to possibly take action from the closed session and continue with the agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
Move to return to open session.
Second.
Motion.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote, starting from my left?
Jamadi, yes?
Enter yes.
Hasdall, yes.
All right, yes.
We are now in open session with no action to take.
7:04 p.m.
Number 20, next agenda items,
What is the,
as needed.
As needed, and we will bring back after the first of the year, our conversation about wake manipulating devices and how we wanna pursue that. And we'll start the conversation about updating the strategic plan, so those will probably be two items, larger items that'll be on the January.
that colorful strategic plan chart?
Yeah, so I thought
Okay.
a good way to maybe start would be reintroducing Bill to everyone. He probably would just join us virtually for that meeting, if it worked into his schedule as a means of which to say welcome and for your introduction with him again.
And we're gonna include, is he the one that also helped with that? Cause I think
Yes.
Supervisor
Yep.
Minter had asked for us to be able to update those as well. Okay.
Yes, and he and I have had a brief conversation about what it would mean to get started again, and I said that we would wanna revisit and make sure we still felt comfortable with those.
Thank you.
When will we bring back up the ARPA funds? Do we have to sort of
That's
wait
a good
until we hear
question.
from We Energies?
I would, if we could wait until we would know what their number was, how they did on their marketing, that would be helpful. And then revisit it. So we should know that right after the first of the year, so I could give an update at the January meeting. Maybe it wouldn't be an agenda item if I didn't have a number, but I could give an update.
I know we have social media policy out there. I believe it's being reviewed internally. I would guess that it'll come back either first meeting or second meeting in January.
Yeah, it'll come back early in the year.
You know what else we have outstanding is we still haven't gotten that report from General Engineering.
Yep, that one's on my list for the end of the year. But Lucas had to go back to Poland for a series of weeks, and so that's
Oh.
why he's, some items are delayed. But that one
I'm
is
sure
still
there's a
on my
lot
list.
going on there.
Number 21, next meeting date and time.
It will be in 2023, right? Like, crazy
Scary.
how fast that time went.
January 5th. I think.
January 5th, 2023.
Get a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Adjourned at 7:07 p.m.
Hey, whatever happened to our cute name tags?